All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for August 31st through September 6th. My name is Athen. So a couple things happening this week. It's kind of split up into two parts. Monday and Tuesday, we've got Mars conjoining up to Venus and the Sun opposing up to Neptune. And then over the weekend, the Sun trining Pluto, so very supportive there with the Sun, and then Venus going direct after her long retrograde, well, seemingly long retrograde since July 25th. So with that being said, there is this energy kicking off the week with Mars going into that seventh house of yours where he much rather prefers where he has been. He's been in these signs, especially with Cancer, where he's coming out of that. He's just not comfortable. He has been in a comfortable constellation since Aries. And so now going into your seventh house, this can be very assertive, very direct with your relationships, your one-on-one connections. Maybe for some of you, just really making some change here, wanting to implement some new goals, new drives. If you're single, you might decide you want to go mingle. If you're in a relationship, you might be very romantic, very passionate about it. So it's kind of reviving and transforming. That's the energy of Mars because he's naturally a transformative planet. But the Sun trining up to Pluto this week also facilitates those deeper connections and powerful transformations that could very well be happening in the relationship sphere. So that's what this is. It's the second house. It's also the house of business, anything that does involve contracts or mutual exchanges as well as legal matters. So for those of you involved with those things, but generally all of us, it's our relationships in life, new and existing. And so as it has been, more expansion there. I think your focus will continue to be here. There's lots to express here. And this early part, Monday and Tuesday, just remember to keep balanced. This Neptunian energy that's been so important of relaxing into the fact that maybe you don't know exactly who you are in the sense of where you're going. That's been Neptune in the first house. It's spiritualizing you so that you're not a label, you're not a construct, you're not put into a box. This is what Neptune is. It's blurring the lines and realizing that we're so much more in this sense than what we could ever imagine or think we are. So, but with that, if we try to analyze too much about our goals, where we're going, who we are, it can become confusing. So it's important to have that faith and trust with that. Give it to God, so to speak, or quite literally. And you'll find that balancing out to this relationship energy. And even if there is uncertainty and doubt about the relationship stuff, Monday and Tuesday in particular, it's having faith and trust with that also, because the opposition is bringing that Neptunian energy into the mix, which is calling for you to have this sort of cycle of time where, there's, an understanding that although there is a lot of, self-motivation and just control in this area, free will. There's also so much that isn't in our free will, that isn't in our control involving relationships. And that's why it's so important to have that faith and trust, which will then balance it out. And then more expansion can continue to happen here, and it just can become a whole lot easier without that resistance and thus suffering, if that's the case. But this isn't a suffering kind of a transit. It's just the way oppositions and squares sort of work. And, with that, I think hiring a sensitivity, actually, where you can have compassion and, have that unconditional love, unconditional acceptance with those in your life can really be a great way of working with that. So that's the early part of the week. And then this whole Mars conjoining up to Venus. Venus has been retrograde, so you'll continue to reflect on probably this week in regards to home, family, and also your philosophy, since Venus does rule your fourth and your ninth house. So continue to reflect on these things. Things aren't quite moving forward yet in that area until next week or this weekend once she goes direct. And so with that, though, you can be quite motivated. Maybe there is some news coming in. Maybe there is some ambitions around home, family, and philosophy or travel, etc., which can motivate you. And that can prompt a lot of this Mars in the seventh house ambition. But treat it as a learning process and continue to rework, rethink, redo those particular areas. And you'll find that also very motivating as well. So that's Monday, Tuesday. Then over the weekend, the Sun does trine up to Pluto. So this is all about transformation and change with your groups, organizations, friends, and really stepping into your power and drawing the line when appropriate, with, organizations or friends. And all of that is actually very supporting your one-on-one connection. So if you've been thinking about making some changes here, involving relationships, one in particular, or new ones, or whatever it might be, a great weekend for that, a great weekend for relationships in general. But especially when you want to make change. And that can be with, again, new and existing ones, but really with yourself and how you see relationships and that kind of perspective, and clearing out a lot of old cobwebs and a lot of old garbage really from that 7th, which then allows you to express yourself so much easier, so much more power, which is Pluto. All of our self-expression can be quite high, but this will be in the sphere of your relationship. So that'll be the weekend. Venus going direct, all those things relating to home, family, travel, expansion, possibilities will start to move forward, and you'll notice that going into the following week. So Aquarius, I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to Sidereal, do check the description down below for more information. Your sign might be different, and I hope you guys have a good one. Take care.